Hi everyone. Today we'll be making Monopoly with the MVC architecture. Um, to be honest, when I was writing this with the MVC, it was quite a bit of an overkill because it's normally used for larger systems and applications and even games. Monopoly, the way I've done it, is not that big of an application. So the idea here is more to have a look at the architecture MVC and see for yourselves that it could be really useful if you have a large project. That's the one thing. The other thing is that it's not going to be 100% functional. I mean, there'll be some details that can be implemented fairly easily, which I'm sure that you can do yourselves at home once you have, the MVC, the controller, and so on. So yeah, the idea is more, pay attention to the structure, because if your project is, big, you may want to implement that in your teamwork as well. So let's run it and hopefully it will run, and I'll show you what we are gonna try to accomplish. Okay, so this is our board. I don't know, can you see it well enough? Yeah, all right. So we have some buttons here. We have the dice here that we can roll. Here are our pawns. This is not good. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, we have buy and we have enter. So this enter, I made it myself, and it has a bit of a tinier text, but it says enter here. Right. Okay, we also have the amount of money, and we have some text which is gonna tell us what's happening on the board, instead of some complicated animations or some pop-ups that come up and so on. All right, so we can roll. We roll 10. We landed in jail. We cannot buy jail. We can only end our turn now. So end turn. Player 2 is on 9. Okay, now this is Pentonville Road. We can buy this. Okay, and you see the small flag here which appears, which means that it belongs to the yellow guy. We can end the turn. Roll again. We landed on Marlborough Street, I think that one is. We can buy it, and so on. So we also have, if someone lands on a field that's already bought, you are gonna know either it's gonna take rent from you and give it to the other player, or it's just gonna say, well, you already own this, so there is nothing to be done. So yeah, this is what we'll do. How does it look? Is it okay? It's all right. Right, so what we are gonna do here is look at the MVC structure. So I don't know if you remember from the design patterns, but we have MVC, okay. This stands for Model View Controller. Okay, so the model is basically your classes of players, not buttons, but like tiles, streets, and so on. All the logic or the structure of the assets of the characters and so on. The view is only concerned with how is everything drawn. Okay, so they're completely separate. So what we did last time was we had a class spaceship, and inside we had an update. So we had a spaceship class, and inside we had a method draw and we had a method update, which is absolutely fine as well. But this is just a different type of writing your code and structuring your application. So the idea with the MVC is that you keep those completely separate. So at no point the model is gonna communicate with the view when we make those classes. So nowhere in the view I'm gonna say give me the board, give me the players, and so on. So this is a job for the controller, which just connects these two. So it's gonna say, well, what state is it now? Take the information from the model, give it to the view. The view is going to draw everything and so on. So this way you keep things separate. So I know it takes a a bit of an effort to, you know, make this structure work and so on. At least it did for me with the MonoGame. But once everything was, once something was wrong in my game, I would know precisely where the wrong thing is. So if it's something with the drawing of the player, I know exactly where to go and fix it. If it was something with the logic, I knew where to go in the model and fix it there as well. So this is the point. So when you structure it this way, it takes a bit more effort, but in the end, it could repay you with you know, easily extending, debugging your code and so on. So it has some pluses and some pros and cons, but it's definitely worth knowing, independently of whether you are going to use it or not in your projects. Alright, so what we are going to do now, since there is not much point of me writing from scratch the model and the view, because, you know, they're pretty basic, and you can do those, I'm sure, yourselves if you start doing this game. We are going to delete the controller and we're going to write that from scratch. But the rest, I'll just go through it and we'll see what I've done. Alright, so what do you want to start with? Let's start with the player. Okay, so we have a class player, and he has a bunch of things. Okay, so first of all, he has an index. Okay, we have initial player money as a constant. We have total number of tiles, which I am gonna use to make some calculations when we change the position of the player. Okay, so what do we have? So we have a list of streets that the player owns. We have current position. We have index. We have is in jail. Either true or false. So this syntax here allows me not to put it in the constructor, which is available as of C# 6.0, the newer stuff. So if you try this in Visual Studio 2.13, it's not going to work. I think I've shown this a couple of times. But yeah, if you need to do this and it doesn't work for you, you can just put it in the constructor, like this dot is in jail equals false, and that is fine. And that was the old way to do things, but you know, this is just something cool, because now everything that you need, everything that you give in the constructor will be initialized only it, meaning that here you wouldn't have any properties that you wanna initialize if they're not here listed as arguments. Okay, so yeah, we have is in jail, we have money, and these are initial player money, which was 1500. Alright, and we have a couple of methods. So we have set position, and we give the new position. We make some checks. So if you go around the board, so let's say that we are here, this is position 0, this is the goal tile. Let's say that we move around here, we get to here, and we wanna say that we are at 39 here, and we roll something like a 5. What we want to do is change that and transform it into a 4 here, so that we don't go above the maximum number of tiles. And this is what we do here. So sometimes when you go back a couple of squares, so there is a chance card that does that, I think, and you can go, you can get a negative position. What we want to do is just add the number of tiles. So let's say that I am at 0, and I have to go back 4 squares. This is going to be, I think now 35. So what I want to do is take 0 minus 4 and add 40, and yeah, 36. But yeah, this is the logic. We just modify the value depending on where we jump from 39 to 0, 1, 2, 3, or the other way around. Okay, and of course, once we go through go, we want to increment our money by 200. So we have 2 more methods, which are increment money and decrement money, because I made them separate because it's weird to increment money with a negative number, right? It could be something like modify money, but that's not clear enough. So having 2 methods is not a problem here. All right, what else should we look at? let's take a look at the interfaces quickly. So I have an eye player, which has these things, which we just looked at. We have an eye tile, which has even less things. So we have index name and act-on player. So this act-on player is going to be something that is going to be different for every type of tile. So we have here streets, we have chance cards, we have jail, we have go to jail, we have just the go tile, and so on. So this act-on player is just a method that takes a player and changes his values corresponding. So it could change the position, the money, it can give you buy options, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. We have enumerations. Those are the neighborhood types. We are going to use them only once when we initialize the streets. So we have brown, blue, hot pink, orange, red, yellow, green, purple. We have a station and we have utility, and that's all that you can buy in the game. I don't think I'm forgetting something, but yeah. Okay, so let's go to the tiles. Those are a bit more complicated, I think. So let's go to our base tile. So this is an abstract class here, because, you know, if you want to tell someone, well, give me a tile, it's not going to be clear what kind of a tile you want. So we've separated them into tags, street. Can you see this? Let me zoom in. So we've separated them into tags, street, special tiles. So those are go to jail, free parking, and the other one is let me just run it and I'll show it to you, because I know this game by heart, and I'm sure that probably none of you do. So this is the go. Can I actually? I'm not going to zoom in. So this is a special tile. This is go. This is visiting jail. This is the parking. This is keep calm and go to jail. This tile here. So streets are the brown ones, the blue ones. This is, I think it's kind of pink, but yeah, this is hot pink. Alright, so we have here orange. That should be orange at least. We have red, we have yellow, we have green, and we have the purple ones, which are the most expensive. We have also stations, so these are 4 at positions 5, 10, 15, and 20. 5, 15, 25, and 35. Okay, so we also have utilities. So all of these that I've mentioned are streets, because you can buy them, you have an owner there, and so on. The rest don't have that. Okay, we have chance cards. So this is a chance card. This is a chance card here, and this one here, which do a random action on your player, which is pre-defined, and I'll show you. But I've also included here the community chest as well, because it has a similar thing. You know, those are just 2 different types of cards in the game, and they tell you to do a random thing. Give players to the give money to the other player, move to a certain position, and so on. And this one here as well. And I think we've gone through all of them. Oh yeah, we have taxes. So this is a tax. Income tax 200, and this is super tax 150, I think. So yeah, we've gone through all of them, and this is what we have as classes as well. So we have tax, we have street, tax, street, special tile, we have chance card, and chance card generator, because, you know, that's a bit more complicated to do. Okay, so let's have a look in the tile. So we have an index, we have a name for each tile. Nothing special here, and we have the still abstract method act-on player, which is inherited from iTile, if you remember. So this is an interface, and let me get back to the tile. And this is now an abstract class, which, you know, implements the interface. All right. So which one do you want to do first? I guess taxes are relatively simple, so let's do those first. All right, so we have tax amount. So for the tile at position 4, this will be 200. So the only thing that we have to do is call the base constructor and just set the tax to its specific amount. In this case, it's going to be 200. The other one has 150. And every time that a player lands, we are going to have this method act on player, and it's going to decrement the money we get from the player. And also, all of these are strings, because this is what we'll be putting on the screen as text here. So if you see somewhere that I return a string, this is the reason why. I'm just going to put all of the information here. So yeah, as soon as you land on tax, it's going to say this dot name, so something like super tax, and it's going to tell you how much you are taxed. We can of course change this if you don't like it, but I think it's fine. Okay, so streets or special tile. Let's go to the special tile. So here we have some if statements, because it really depends on which tile you land. So that the action here is going to be slightly more complicated. Okay, so we don't have anything specific for the special tile, just inherit from the base constructor. And we have this method act on player, which again returns a string. So if the index is 0, this means that we are on go, and it says you landed on go, collect 200, and we increment the money by 200. Okay, I think this should be removed, because we already have this in the player as logic. So if you turn around, so from a 39, if you go up to 0, you should be getting 200 already. So I'm not sure whether this thing has to be here. I'm sure that we can check later on. So if it increments with 400, then I have to remove this line. Okay, else if this dot index equals 10, you're visiting jail, so nothing happens really. You landed on jail. This can be, so here I can say that the position of the player is set to 10, but then I have to move it as well, and so on. So this can be done from the controller and not here. Okay, and else, which is going to be the last one with index 30, it's going to say you are in jail, you will skip the next 3 turns. So yeah, pretty much that. Okay, any questions so far? Is everything clear? I deliberately asked whether everyone is aware of the rules of Monopoly, because I'm going into specific details that I know by heart. So if you're confused by something, let me know, and I'll just put the board up, and you will be able to see. Everything is fine? Okay, let's go on. All right, we have chance cards, and here I cheated a bit. Instead of having this complicated logic here, which is going to be not that complicated, but I would have to have delegates and stuff like that inside. I prefer to actually just say, well, let someone else handle this, similar to a factory method, and I just call it, and just give me a chance card. I don't care how you do it. So this is what you have to do to get a chance card. The implementation is a bit different. Okay, so we would like to have an RNG, and we would like to have a list of functions that will be executed depending on which chance card falls. So say that we have three chance cards. One of them is, let's use those. So bank is giving you money. Let's say that this is some amount, 100. You're pretty giving bonus. This is an actual card. You've won a modeling contest or something like that, and everyone has to give you like 25 or something like that. So yeah, and give amount to other players as well. So these are the things here, and each of these is a function which does exactly what board.players. Yeah, that is fine. So yeah, each of these is a method which does exactly what it says. So it takes a player and increments its money, and gives the message. The next one is the same. The next one is the same. So here, if you want to, you can very easily add new actions. So there are, I don't know how many cards are there in Monopoly, but I would assume with the community chest and chance cards, there are more than 20 or 20 something cards. So you can add all of them here, and the only thing that you have to do is make a method like this one, add it to the list of functions, and after that what we are doing is we just every time when someone says generate a random card, we just mix those. So order by X goes to RNG.next. This is the quickest way to shuffle a list or a collection. And then I say toList and I return the first one. Or no, I choose a random one again because I had a problem here because this RNG is called only once. I think there was some problem here. I don't know what that was, but I had a further randomness when I choose a random card from this list of chance cards, and then I return it so that I can use it inside my chance card here. So as soon as inside my state machine I say chance card act on player, it's gonna go here, it's gonna generate the random card, and it's gonna act on the player. So this invoke here is a method from the delegate, which is here, and this is just gonna call a random method. I was really thinking of a better way to do this, but I think this is a clean way. And to be honest, I really wanted to do something like randomize just some actions on players without having to have methods and without having to have a delegate. But I think this is an alright method to do it. If anyone has a suggestion here, this was something that I was bashing my head on for quite some time. So if you have a better way, please shout out now. Ideas? Anyone? Shall I repeat or scroll up or down if anyone is confused? Is anyone confused by the random chance card generator? Okay, you're mesmerized, and this is why no one is saying anything. Okay, is everything clear so far or no? And I need to repeat this again. So as soon as I mention the word delegate and or a func or an action, and people get a bit worried. Is that fine here? What I've done with the list of functions. List of functions. I just keep those. I implement them below, and I just choose a random one, invoke it, and return it to my original chance card class. That's it. Nothing that complicated. And okay. So if I show you the code that was 1 year ago for this game, it was really horrible because we did instantiate the list of all tiles inside the I think it was inside the tile class or inside the street tile class or something similar, which is really bad. So for that, if you want to keep all of the information about the players, about the board, about the tiles and positions and so on, we make a separate static class which is going to be board. Why is it static? Because we only have one board. If you had multiple boards, then this wouldn't be static and I would have to instantiate it. But instead, for this specific game, it's just a single board. And here we would like to have a list of the players, have a list of the tiles, have an integer which is going to tell us whose turn it is, and we are going to be operating solely with this class. So anytime when I need to access from the state machine something about the players, the money, or change the money of the player, or make a tile bought by someone, then I would call this method board, and I would access either the players or the tiles or something like that. Okay, so we have a method here, initialize board, so that I don't have to write it here when I initialize the static properties of the class. So I do it here instead. So we say current player index is 0. We initialize the list of players, and here we initialize all of the tiles. So those are all of the tiles with their specific name, position. Here we have neighborhood type. This is the price that you have to pay, and this is the rent that you have to pay. So one thing that is not implemented, but it will be very easy to do, is so there is a rule. If you have all of the properties from a neighborhood, then this value, the rent, doubles. If you don't have any houses or anything, it just doubles. So this will be very easy to implement, because in the street it has neighborhood type and it has an owner. So this is what you have to check. If so at each step when someone buys something, you have to check whether the owners of every neighborhood are the same. If the owner of each street in a neighborhood is the same, and if it is, you just double the rent for the current house. So nothing that complicated here to do. All right, so we initialize all of them, and I think those are correct. I did them by memory. If there is something wrong, then it's probably down here. I didn't finish those, so let me finish those quickly. So I think this is. Let me check. Trafalgar Square was 22, I think. This is 24. This is 24. Waterworks, I leave it as 2. There is a rule there that it depends on how much you roll and so on, but I've just left it as 2. Piccadilly was 26, I think, and I don't remember the rest. So this was maybe 28, 30. And here maybe 35 and 50, I think. I'm not sure. Those are probably correct, but I don't know. 34 and 50 here. Okay, and up here, since this is a station, I'm just gonna put it as 25. You can do the same logic with the stations. So if someone has 2 stations, the rent is 50. If you have 3, it's 100. And if it's all 4 of them, the rent is 200. So you can check that as well. All right. Everything clear about the model. So I've been talking a lot, but those are just classes, and they follow the specific structure of Monopoly. There is nothing special there, just classes with properties. I'm sure that for your specific games you've done something similar, so it really depends. So there is nothing really special here. There is a question.
You didn't show the street class.
I didn't show the street class, didn't I? Didn't I show all of them? So the tax, the street. All right, street. Okay, so we have a constructor with index, string, name, which are inherited from the base. We have neighborhood type, which is the enumeration that I believe I've shown. I've shown you the enumeration, yeah? We have end price, end rent. We set all of them. This owner is no, because at the beginning you don't have an owner. And these are the properties that we have. So we can get and set them. So we have the neighborhood. We have the neighborhood type should be private set, I think. Is something gonna break if I do that? Nope. Okay, so well written. So the price should be private as well, because it cannot change, but the rent and the owner can change. So I'll leave them as is, with just to get in a set. All right. And we have act on player, and we have 3 cases. So if the owner is the player, then we just do nothing, and we say, well, you already own this, so just move on. Okay. Else if this owner is no, this means that this property is available for purchase. And finally, if it belongs to the other player, then we have to decrement the money of the person that has landed and increment the money of the owner. And this is the string that says that as well. So this is a bit too long, so I'll put it like that. Yeah, I did not mention this, but yeah, is everything fine now? Good. Let's move to the view, which is a bit more complicated because it is MonoGame specific, and I'll show you what I mean. So where do I start first? I'll start with the idea. So the idea here is that we have an abstract renderer class which has these methods. Okay, and pretty much describes everything that we are gonna have in this, renderer. The renderer is what the how you draw the information. Say if it's a MonoGame, the renderer will be MonoGame, and if it's like a console application, you have a different renderer here. So the idea of the view and the way it's structured is that once I want to create a different renderer, I can just change it in my controller. So say instead of using MonoGame renderer, use the console one, and I wouldn't have to touch anything else, and the game is gonna work. Okay, as soon as I have the renderer. This is why we decoupled the model from the view, because in the last game, the last lecture where we had the spacecraft, and it had draw and update inside. Well, this is not gonna work for the for a console application, right? And we would have to go through every single class and change it, and remove all of the buttons, the PNGs, the textures, and whatever is in the specific engine. This way, the only thing that I have to do if I want to make this game a console application, I just have to make a new renderer, inherit from this abstract one, and just implement how you want to view things. Okay, is that sort of clear? What's the idea behind this architecture? Okay, so yeah, instead of going here, which contains most of the logic, I will skip it, and I'll go through some of the classes here. So which one should I start with? So normally with engines that are, at least the way I think about sprites and so on, the rectangle and the image are in the same structure. So this is just like a helper class that I've created, because I don't think, can you have an image without can you have a texture 2D without the rectangle in MonoGame? It's fine. Okay, but inside here we would like to have collisions on almost everything, or at least positions and so on. So I've done it this way. Maybe there is a better way. So the rectangle is going to say where the image is going to be placed and how big is it going to be. And we have the image which we are going to load separately. Okay, and now all of these, so we have background, we have button, we have dice, we have player UI, we have tile, notifications. All of these are going to have some sprites. So let's have a look. Which one do you choose to do first? I think they're pretty much the same. Background. Okay, let's go from top to bottom. Okay, so we have private sprite, which cannot be changed once it's instantiated, and we say this sprite equals sprite. Yeah, this is private, and I don't need to have a property. I don't need to access it from the outside world. So this is with a camel case, and it's private. Okay, then we have public void draw, which takes the sprite batch. So now here things are a bit more complicated, because this is something which is specific for the MonoGame render. So this method draw. To do that, I need to have a sprite batch. Okay, is that has everyone remembered this from the last lecture? All right, so yeah, we just take it from outside. I don't want to instantiate it here or keep a reference or something. I just give it to the method. So every method draw is going to have this sprite batch. Okay, so now simply, since we have a sprite instead of a rectangle and an image, I can simply say this.sprite.image and this.sprite.rectangle and color white, so that we have no tint. And the rest are pretty much the same. Let me have a look at another one which is simple. So player UI. So we have player index and we have a sprite. So depending on the player index, I would like to load a different image, and we'll see how to do that a bit later. All right, we have public player UI. So this is the constructor. Nothing special here. This sprite has to be private, I think. Do I change the sprite? Actually, I do. So yeah, here we don't want to have it as private. Okay, and I have the same method. Actually, I could make something like an abstract class, drawable. It's actually not going to be drawable object or something, which because all of them have this method, but I'll leave it as is for now. Okay, for the dice, it's a bit more complicated, because so let me run the game and I'll show you. So here it starts with 1 1, so those are like default values. If I say row, we have 3 and 3, and turn 6 and 2, and so on. So I have to keep a list of textures somewhere in this class, and I want to say, well, as soon as the value changes of the die as I've rolled it, I want to change the image of the sprite as well. So we keep all of these here in an array of textures. We said so this is this. Okay, and we have a method which is change dice image, and I just need to have the value of the specific die, and I'm just gonna change the image. So this dot sprite dot image equals this dot value sprites, which are in my array here, and I just change the image, and that's it. And please note that this is a job of the view, right? So this is only what we draw on the board. This is no logic of the game or anything. This is just how we draw things. Okay, what remains? Player UI is we've actually done that. We haven't done the button. Okay, the buttons are a bit more complicated, but not that much. Instead of having them as having all of the separate textures in an array, since there are only 3 and they can have good names. So if I had to do different textures for the die, it would have to be value 1, value 2, and so on. Here, I can actually have I can give meaningful names so that it's clear which image does what. So we have hover image, clicked image, and inactive image. So this is the thing right here. So if you see, when I go over, it gets a bit green. Can you see that? And if I click it, it actually has a different image as well. And this is true for all of the buttons. Enter. All right. Also, I want to be able to freely change between the states. So as soon as I say button.change to hover image, as soon as I have some logic with the mouse and so on, I want to change to hover image. I want to change to clicked or to inactive, or the way I've mentioned it here is, yeah, it's in inactive. And I want to draw it as well. Have we gone through all of them? Tile owner. So these are the I really don't want to get into much detail of that. These are the small 12. These are the small triangles that you see here, which show you which has bought the specific street. And this was a bit fiddly of a work because you had to place all of them, hide them, and so on. So as soon as someone buys it, only then you want to show it, and so on. So if I enter and roll again, and I buy, this now is going to be orange because it belongs to the orange player. So purely UI thing. All right, so we have a sprite. We have bool is active, and the only thing, and I'm only gonna draw it if it's active. Means that if someone has bought it, and I actually have a method for that as well. I have set owner, and I have the owner index. Okay, so I set this to active, so it's gonna draw from now on, and I just load the image depending on which player has bought the which player has bought the property. Nothing special. Alright, so if I have to put now everything in the MonoGame renderer, it's going to be a huge class, right? So I have to instantiate, let's go back here. I have to instantiate 3 buttons. I have to instantiate something like 25 or 26 notifications and so on, which is going to be really ugly in the renderer itself, right? So instead of doing that, I implemented something like a factory method UI initializer, and this is pretty much what it says. It's like a factory method from last time, if you remember. So my idea is, if I say UI initializer, please give me a buy button, it's gonna do that. If I want to tell it, give me a roll button, give me enter button, create dice, and so on. So all of this logic here, which pretty much just gives an image, places it somewhere on the board, and gives its values. So here I have these textures that I have to load, and so on. So nothing really special in this class. It pretty much does all of the logic of creating the buttons and the UI for me, so that I don't have to do all of this inside my renderer. Okay, so I have tile owner notifications. So these are, as you can see, this is pretty ugly of a code here. There is no other way around it though, right? I have to give the specific positions for each of them. It could be done in a for loop, but since I only have a couple on each side, those would have to be for loops, and it will be even harder to read. So I just left it as is. So here I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties to buy, and for them I have to make a for loop, which is gonna not iterate from 1 to 8 or from 1 to 10. It would have to be something weird. So yeah, I just did it this way by hand. And we have colliders. So these are pretty much so that the player, once it starts moving, it would know where to stop. So each tile here, let me draw. So each tile has a collider which you cannot see, so that I can tell to my player, well, you should move and stop only if you hit the specific tile. So I have given a path to every player to go around this way, and if we don't have any colliders, it will just keep going around and around and around. But this way I just say, well, once you hit the specific tile which you've wrote, then just stop, and that's it of a method. So I need to initialize those colliders as well, and this is what this method does. So nothing special. So having all of this is about 150 lines of code. In the render would make it really ugly, and now it looks really well. So I'll show you. Okay, so we have a class MonoGame renderer, which inherits from the abstract renderer. Okay, so what do we need to draw something? Okay, so we need the content manager, which I take from the entry point. We need a sprite batch as well. So those are the buttons. We have the dice as well. We have the player pawns. So player's UI is not very good. Player pawns is better, but I don't want to change it now. So yeah, just imagine that here it says the pawn because it's that's what it is. Those are those two small things here. So this and this. All right. I didn't do anything. Okay. Right. So we have the image or the sprite for the first player. We have for the second player, we have some velocity with which the player moves. So this is a private, so it should be smaller case. We have a private rectangle tile destination. So we would like to know where we go at each time we roll. And we have a boolean should player move, which is going to become apparent what it does a bit later once we go to the controller. Okay, we have also background. We have tile notifications in an array. We have tile colliders, which are also in an array. Here we have the font, which we don't need to expose, and we have the text here. No notification text, player 1 money, player 2 money. So if I had to do something similar with the other renderer, so like a console application renderer, I would have all these things, but instead of type button where you have sprites and so on, I would have to just draw it in the console. So yeah. Okay, so once we instantiate a renderer, this is what happens. I say this dot background equals UI initializer create background, which is very clean. Just give me a background, I'll have it, and it's fine. Otherwise, I would have to have all of the logic from here. I would have to copy paste it in the constructor, which is really bad. It's going to be 200 lines of method of a constructor, which is even worse. So this is what everything does. All of the methods that you've seen, we just have to give the content so that we can load the images, and we just use this class UI initializer to create everything for us. Okay, so we initialize players UI so that we know which one to move. We have two tiles, and depending on who's on turn, we are gonna move this specific player. Okay, so this is fine as well. So here we just initialize the notifications and colliders. Velocity set to 400. I could extract this as a constant, but it just appears once, so I don't need to do that. We set the initial text for the player. We set the initial text for the notification, which I don't think you will be able to see because the state changes too fast. But I can give it a delay, and then you will be able to see that this is the original text of the game. Okay, so here we load the font as well, which did not make any sense to do in the UI initializer because it's just one line of code. So once you have that, there is no point of creating a new method for it. Okay, what else do we have? So we have draw board method, which just draws everything, calls the draw method for every single thing that we have. So here we have the background first, the buttons, all of them, the die. Also we have the players, we have the notifications, and we have the text. So the first text is this one up here, the second one is down here, so specific for each specific player. Okay, right, and we have the method move player, which is nothing that complicated. It was again a bit fiddly, so I was so here I am saying as soon as you are within the this box, move left. Okay, once you get here, inside this box, move up. Okay, and so on, and this happens until you hit your designated tile where you have to go. So this thing here. So if tile destination contains current player sprite rectangle, this player this dot should player move equals false, and that's all I do. This means that I've hit my my tile, and we have to stop moving. Else, we just move the player with the way that I've just shown. Is that clear? Okay, so how does all of that sound? Anything complicated? Do you think that you wouldn't be able to do any of this if you tried to implement it yourself? Any special logic that I've used? So in the module we just define some properties and constructors depending on the specific game, and inside the view we just draw. Okay. Maybe the only a bit more complicated thing that I had to do here is to remember to get the content from the entry point from the game itself, and I didn't find any other way to do this. If you know a better way, then please let me know. But this was the only thing that I found a bit hard, because to be able to draw you have to have content. To load images you have to be able to have a content, and I was trying to create a new one here, but it was not going to be the same in the entry point. So yeah, I honestly don't think that there is anything complicated here in terms of the logic. So the only kind of methods that we've done is just initialize board, initialize the render. We have some simple stuff like increment money, decrement money, nothing that special and nothing that complicated, right? Okay, so after the break we'll have a look at the controller, and I'm gonna delete the states here and the state machine, and we're gonna implement those from 0. So as soon as I delete those, nothing is gonna work, but yeah, we'll be able to do that from scratch. Yeah, so have a break, like 10 minutes. Right. Okay, so this is the controller that we'll be writing almost from scratch. The only thing that I want to show is the entry point, which I've stripped down to this. So here I've changed, I think, this to be public static Monopoly game, so that I can access it from the rest of the. So let me change that. I'm sure that I'm gonna regret changing this now, because I'll have to go through that again. So if I wanna access from any of the states, if I wanna access the renderer or anything else, I can. I'm gonna go through here, and this is why this is public. And this is simply, just game and game.run. That's it. Okay, and Monopoly games. So this is what you would normally get as a default in your MonoGame project. I've changed a couple of things which should be relatively simple to understand. Okay, so here I have a renderer which I can access from outside, so I'll change that as well because it's public renderer. I have elapsed, which is something that we talked about last time, and the only place that I'm using it is when I move the player. So here we don't have, parallaxing backgrounds and stuff like that. The only place that we are going to use this is when we move the player. And if you've noticed, so now it's very, very simple for me to find the method, because I know that this is how do I want to move the player. I want to go to the view. I want to go to the renderers, MonoGame, and I look for a method which is called move. And there it is. And here we have entry point.game.elapsed. Okay, so this is the whole point of the architecture, that where is everything that you need. Okay, and that makes it a lot easier to get around. All right, so let's get back here. So we have elapsed. Here we initialize the graphics device manager. We set the content somehow. I'm not sure what this line does, but can someone help me here? The director. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah. All right. My bad. So this is this content here. I think, yeah, with all of the pictures. Okay, so we have the mouse visible equals true, because I want to be able to see, when I click on the buttons and so on. So the resolution here is 700 by 700. I'm sorry if it's too low, but this is the board that I have for the game. All right. What else do we have? So we have a renderer which we initialize. So as soon as I say new MonoGame renderer, it's gonna go here and initialize all of the buttons, backgrounds, and so on. But it's not gonna draw them. It's just gonna initialize them. All right. And if I go back here, another thing. So now we come to the state machine, which is something that we'll implement from scratch, and this will be the only thing that we'll implement from scratch for this game. Basically, we want to have a state machine which has different states, and each of them is, it's the player's turn. The player has to roll. The player has to move. The player has landed on something, which is going to be the biggest state, because it depends on what you land. And we have end turn state. So these are all of the states, and we want to iterate through them and execute the specific operations for each state. So let me run this one more time. So this is the initial state. Sorry, this is not the initial state. This is the state where the player has to roll. So this is player roll state. So once I press roll, we are gonna have some RNG for the dice, and we are gonna change the state to player move state. Okay, once we have that, this was very, very quick, but bear with me. So we went from player's turn state to player roll state. We went to player move state, and then now we have player landed on something state, and those will be pretty much all of the states that we have. And we are gonna iterate through them. So right now, since there is nothing to buy, we've landed on community chest, and it says player 1 landed on community chest. The other player is smarter, give him 30. And as you can see, we have 30 less, and the other player has 30 more. Okay, so end turn, and now it's the other player's turn to roll, and so on. And we just iterate through the states in the state machine. So we say state machine dot initialize. You see what that does. We have state machine dot current state. We give the first specific state I wanna say it here. I can also say it in the initialize, but I decided to do it here so that it's a bit more clear what's happening. Then we say execute, and then we say change state. So the first state just draws the background, the players, the tiles, and so on, the buttons as well. So this is why I want to execute it first, and then I just want to change the state to the first state that matters, where we actually have some operation, which is to roll, to press the roll button. Alright, load content, nothing special. Update, please notice that here the only thing that we have in the update, if you make if you think about the game from the last lecture, this was huge, right? So in the update we had, you know, ships, and we have different methods and so on. We followed more the structure of the first course as a console application. We had a couple of classes, right, so that not everything is inside the main game class, but it was still huge, right? And here we've actually separated the logic into states, so that the only thing that I have to do is say state machine dot current state execute, and this is the only thing that I'll need inside the update here. And the state machine is going to take care of the rest. Okay, we have draw, which is pretty much the same. We have begin, we have end, and we just say to the state machine current state dot draw, and we give in the renderer, so that there is no coupling between the state machine and the renderer. Okay, so how does that sound? This is the whole game, right? So just a couple of lines. We just say state machine update or execute, and we have draw, and that's it, nothing else. The question is how to implement this now. So I'll delete this, which is kind of sad. I'll delete that as well, and I am gonna start from scratch. Alright, so let's make a folder now, which is gonna be called states. Alright, and inside I want to create an abstract class which is going to be called state. So add class, and we're going to call this state.cs. Alright, remove all of that. If we need something, we are going to add it manually. Okay, so this is public abstract class state. Okay, inside I want to have, what do I want to have? I want to have a constructor, and the only thing that I want to have is, you know, each state should know which state is next. Okay, so I have state which is say roll, and we just want to know which is the next state in the list, so that we can iterate through it. So this is actually the only thing that I'll have. So I have public state next state. Here I'm gonna say get and set. After that I want to have public abstract void execute, right? So this is an abstract method because every state that we implement from this abstract class is gonna have, you know, different update. It's gonna have a different execution, right? And the thing that repeats, so here we use what's cool about the abstract classes, that we can leave this undefined, and we can left the child classes to implement it, but I can also have something which is going to be similar to all of them. So draw, here I want to say MonoGame renderer control dot. Okay, and inside here I want to say renderer, and I want to say renderer dot drawboard, which is a method here, and I've showed it. So this is, you know, everything. We just draw all of the buttons, the backgrounds, and so on. So let me get back to state. Actually, I want to close these up. I don't have this, and this is a really nice feature. So I'll show you how to add it as well. Oops. So remove that, remove that, remove that as well. The entry point we don't need it, but so if we go to tools, options, and inside here, let me pause this as I find the setting that I want to have. Right, so this is the option that I want to have: show pin tabs in a separate row, which is really useful. So now if I've opened a couple of them, I'll have the states, which is the one that we're interested in currently. I'm gonna have it on top instead of having to search through all of them. So if I just click here, you know, it's just gonna go to the other line. So a nice feature. All right, so we don't need that now, so let's just leave it. All right, and of course here I want to say state, next state, and down here I want to say this dot next state equals next state. All right, any questions here? Everything is fine? All right, so let's create a simple state, and after that I'll create the state machine, so that we can just see, you know, what's the logic there and so on. So I just want to create a simple state just to show you how it looks like. So this is going to be called initial state. Okay, so delete all of that. Actually, there was something that I didn't do, so I have to put this using inside here. Yeah. Okay, initial state. This is gonna be just 1 second. So public class initial state, which inherits from state. And here, everywhere, I would have to say constructor. I want to say state, next state, and reuse the base constructor. So here I want to say next state, and normally you would want to put this way, probably, so that you don't waste that much space. Okay, after that we are only gonna have a single method, which is gonna be public override. So right now we have a method that we have to implement, which is execute using system. Do I really need system for this? That's weird. Okay, I don't need that as well. Oh yeah, this is for the exception. So yeah, I'm not gonna need it. So the only thing that I want to say here, can anyone remember now? I should try to examine you a bit whether you've paid attention. So if I wanna initialize the board, what should I do here as a logic? Sorry, anyone? Execute the current state. Yes, this is the method that we want to implement. Okay, so I want to initialize my board. We are not talking about drawing. We are talking about the logic. So where do you guess we should go, and what kind of method do you think we should have? So I've opened up the model. So it's somewhere inside here. It's not in the interface because there is no logic in there. The interface just shows the structure of somewhere in the board. Okay, so let's go into the board and see what we have. Okay, well, what do you know? We have initialized board. So this is what we want to do. So I should remind you that the board is a static class, and it's going to hold all of the information for our board, you know, players, tiles, who is the owner of what, and so on. So here I should be able to say board dot initialize board, and this is all that I want to do in terms of logic. So okay, so let's do that. I want to say using where was that model? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, are there any questions here? This is not that complicated. We have one method which is for the logic, execute, and we have another method which is draw, which I have already in my state, in my abstract state here, which I am not gonna bother doing anything with, because it's the same for all states. For every single state I want to draw the position of the buttons and so on. All right, now let's go and create the state machine with what we have so far. So let's go back to the controller and let's add new class, and this is going to be called state machine. All right, what do you think should I make with the class state machine? Once you hear state machine, what kind of a class you imagine? Static. Thank you. So public static state machine, and so here I'll have a couple of things. So I'll have public static, public, please, static, state, current state. Okay. No, just state. I just want to say state, and we have to use that as well. Not there. Enter there. Okay, where was I? Here. Okay, so after that, I want to have public static. This is gonna be a list of states, but instead of list, I'll use a dictionary because it's easier to access them by name rather than by index. So if I want to access, I want to say states of initial state. This is easier than putting indices, because what does it mean states of 0 or states of 1? It's not clear what you mean by that. So instead we will make a public static dictionary, and for that I think I have to have this. Yeah, I can simplify that as well. It should work now. Yeah. All right. So just 1 second. So I want to have a dictionary of string and then state. So we are gonna have a string which is key, like the one that I've just shown, and then we are gonna hold the specific state. So this is gonna be called states equals new dictionary dictionary string state, this way. All right, and let's create our initial state. So it's gonna be private static initial state, and inside here I want to have a method which is going to be called initialize. So public static void initialize. I'm missing a something here. Control AKD. Okay, yeah. Initialize. That better? All right. Inside here, I want to say initial state equals new initial state, and inside here I would normally have to give the next state, but since we don't have one, then it's going to be kind of hard to do that. So I'll just give the same state, so initial state, so that the one that is going to follow is going to be the same. So it's just going to be initial state. But after that, once I add the player turn state inside here, I will have to put player turn state. And after that, I want to say state dot add, and inside here I want to say initial state. Did I miss something again? Oh yeah, initial state comma initial state. All right, and then finally I want to have a method which is going to be public static void change state, and it's going to say current state equals current state dot next state. All right, so yeah, we should check if it now runs. So what we want to do is call the initialize, which is going to create my initial state, and after that it's gonna set the current state to the initial state, After that, we are gonna execute it, and after that, we want to change the state as a first step. Everything else will be done inside the other states, but just as an initialize, we want to do that. So let me check if it's gonna work. There could be some problem. I don't know. Yeah, there is. Let me check where that is. So F5. Let's run this. See what's wrong. No reference exception, current state dot execute. But we did have execute. Am I missing something? Probably.
Yeah, it's because you send the next state to the current state, which is now in the constructor in the initialize method of state machine.
All right. Yeah. So this is right here when I actually create my state.
Yeah, this is
This line. Okay, so I need to have at least one more state so that I'm able to show you how this is gonna work. But is it clear what we want to do now? So inside here, I would like to have references to all of my states, so I'll just list them here. I want to create the chain of states, which one goes after which, and then I want to add them to the states machine. Okay, and this is the change state, which is fine. All right. So let's create some more states. This I don't need. All right. So the next one is player turn state. So after we've initialized, we have a player and it's his turn, and we want to do something there. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let's go into states. So some of these states are really easy. The hardest one will be player landed on something, and there has to be a lot of logic in there, and some of it I haven't implemented, but the basics are there if you want to do it. After that, if you want to extend it, then feel free to do so. Alright, so here we have player turn state, which is a class, and it's going to follow the same logic of the previous one. So this one will be public class player turn state, which is going to inherit from state. Alright, this thing, yeah, I don't need this, I don't need this. And okay, so let's see what we have in first I need to have a constructor. This is a bit annoying that you don't inherit constructors, but you should be used to it by now. So next state, and I want to call base, and inside here I want to say next state. And I managed to screw up this syntax. Okay, delete that, there is nothing inside. Press enter. Alright, so what do we have here? So what do we want to do when it's the player's turn state? We want to have the row button active, right? So this is probably the only thing that we need to have. Alright, so button, row button equals entry point dot game dot renderer dot row button. Right, if you remember, in the renderer I had references, so it's in the view, and inside here I had a variable for each thing that I have to draw. I have to change its sprites if I need to, and so on, and I'm just gonna access them from the state machine. So from the specific state, which is a part of the state machine. So to use the button, I need to have view UI. So put it inside here and remove the blank space. Okay, so here I just create a reference so that I don't have to type every time entry point.game.renderer and so on. I just have a simple reference to use here. Okay, after that we want to say entry point dot game dot renderer dot notification text equals player plus board dot current player index. I don't have the board, so board plus board dot current player index. And here, because the current player index, I believe, starts from 0, we actually want to show +1. So this is what I have to say here, +1. And I think I have to put it in brackets, although I'm not sure. So yeah, so we can see, player 1 instead of player 0. Player 1's, and I think after that there was this, yeah, plus turn to roll, I think. Yeah, or just turn, and we are gonna say new line, please roll. And this line is a bit long, so I'll just separate it. How should I separate it, before or after the sign? So here or here? After the sign. Okay. Quality code, please. This is a sample question in your test. Okay. Right. So bool mouse over roll. So now we would like to change the button correspondingly, whether we are over the button to make it like a hover effect, or make it clicked as well. So this is what we are going to do. So mouse over roll equals roll button dot sprite dot rectangle dot contains. And to get the coordinates of the mouse, I have to say mouse, and inside here mouse dot get state dot x, comma mouse dot get state dot y. Okay, so now we have a boolean which tells us whether we are over the mouse or not, and we want to do some things correspondingly. So if mouse over roll, here I want to say else something else, and finally I want to say if clicked, clicked, do something. Alright, so what do I have to type in here? I have a reference to the roll button here, and what do I have to do with the roll button if the mouse is over the button? Okay, how do I change the sprite? Roll button dot, and we'll see what we have. Okay, change to hover image, right? So pretty simple. Okay, else. Okay, if we're not hovering, roll button dot change to inactive. See how easy that was. All right, and if now we'll do the clicking part. So mouse dot get state dot left button equals button state dot pressed, and mouse over roll. So if we are over the roll button and we've pressed the left button of the mouse, then what do we need to do? The first thing. Change the image. So roll button dot change to clicked image, and after that entry point. This one you would probably not be able to guess, so I'll just type it. .game .renderer should player move equals true, because after you roll you want to move the player. And now we want to say state machine dot change state. Okay, how does that look? Fine, so now let's test it and see if we are actually going to get something on the screen, because it was really fine when I could just compile and see everything and show you there, but now we don't have this, so we have to do it from scratch with the state. So inside here I want to say private static how did we call this? Player turn state. All right, and inside here, I want to say player turn state equals new player turn state. I'm gonna set this to initial state because I have to give something in it, and inside I am gonna set it again. This is something weird. I couldn't think of a way around it. I'm sure that there has to be one, but I really couldn't figure it out. So player turn state dot next state equals initial state. Okay, so what happens here? I create the player turn state with the usage of the previous state, which is now wrong because I don't have a next state. I just want to be able to test what's going on. So I do this with the initial state, but this thing right now is null, right? I don't have anything in there. So instead, I am gonna create it afterwards. So inside here, I would have to say that the next state is player turn state. And since when I was initializing player turn state, the initial state was null, I want to set it again. Do you think of a better way to do this? I was thinking this thing worked, and I just left it as is. Do you have a better way? Because we have a circular structure, right? I have to define. So let's say that these are states, and I have to define each one with the next one. Shouldn't the state machine only know the next state? I don't. You don't think we need the current state and the next state? We need the current state because this is what we actually do in our Monopoly game. You don't know if you need the next state in the current state. How am I gonna save it then? How am I gonna know which state to call next? So how would you do that? With ifs and else? Ifs? I have them in the dictionary, but if I go outside of the dictionary, I have to check the index, I have to change. I have to check the key, and if it's bigger than the number of states, then I would have to set it again to 0. So like in a while loop. But personally, I think that this is easier. Just this thing is a bit awkward. But other than that, I just say, just give me the next state, and we are fine. And this is how we create the connection. So it's like. To be honest, I really think that this is the better way to do it. So this is like a graph, which is say, okay, so this state is connected to this state, which is connected to the next state after that, and we have a circle around to get back to the original state. So this can be a bit more complicated, where depending on user input, depending on what happens in linear game, if you have something like a storyline, I could have a couple of next states here, and then the dictionary is not gonna help, right? I need to have all of this information inside the single state. There is something in .NET collections which was linked list. I think you can use that as well, but I haven't had the need to use it. If you know more about it, then maybe you can use that, and it should help, I guess. All right, so once we've done that, I want to say states.add player turn state, and after that I want to say player turn state. Now we should be able to see at least the initial state of our game. There it is, and now we are into the second state, which is just with the roll, and this is the logic that we've implemented. So only for the roll button you are allowed to click. Nothing is gonna happen because we don't have a next state. But yeah, so this is what happens. The rest of the buttons are gonna be inactive because we haven't said anything about them. But if I want to do if I want to activate the buy and the end turn buttons, it will be something very similar to what we've just done. Okay, is it clear? Up to here, everything fine? All right, let's keep going. So the only bit of a dodgy thing, dodgy, is that how you spell dodgy? Dodgy thing here, or you know, a hack due to lack of intellect. Yeah, because this is a hack, and it comes from I have to define each state with the next one, and this cannot happen. At some point, I am gonna have a null. So yeah, this is what I came up with. Yeah. Anyways, so let's make a new state, and the next state is player role state. So now that we've rolled, we actually want to do something with the role. So let's add a new class, player role state. I would really like to point out how easy it is, you know, to add states. You know, we just wrote down like I don't know, maybe 20 lines of code, and we already have, you know, the board with everything. So it's really easy. Once you have the view and the model to, you know, change the controller if you want to change the rules, or you know, make different states, extend the game, and these are the kind of bonuses that that the MVC gives you. And you'll see that this is going to become a full game relatively quickly. So public class player role state, which is going to inherit from state, of course. And the first thing that I have to do, which is kind of annoying, so actually it's going to be the second thing to do. The second thing will be to make a constructor, and inside out. Can I just copy this? This is really annoying. I'll just copy this. And I don't think right now, as I'm copying this, I know that copying is bad, but I don't know of a better way to do this, and I don't think that there is. So let's put it here. Yeah, I just have to say player role state. Okay, inside here. Now, what do we want to do? So after we've clicked the roll button, what are a couple of things that we need to do? Sorry, get the something else. Move the player. How are we gonna move the player? Roll the dice. Okay, so here we're gonna need an RNG, which I don't have, so I'm gonna create one here. So random RNG. This is really bad. Why is it here in the execute? It shouldn't be there. It should be here. So public random or private random. I needed to use system then. Public random RNG, and I'm gonna set it inside the constructor so that it's done only once. Okay, so here I want to say RNG equals new random. Okay, I think that is better. Sorry? Yeah, this RNG. This RNG, yes. Alright, so now we have a random number generator. We want to take the current position of the player, so current player position. Where am I going to take it from? From the board. Alright, so any information that we need concerning the players, the tiles, the owners, the money, and so on is in the board. So yeah, okay. Let me remove this. So board dot current player index. Okay. After that, I am gonna need int first dice number equals RNG dot next. So what should I put in here? 1 to 7. Okay. Int second dice number equals RNG dot next 1 to 7, and int total positions to move equals first dice number plus second dice number. All right. Just 1 second. Here I have some weird line of code. I'll try to do it without it, and if it doesn't work, I'll change it. Okay, so entry point dot game dot renderer dot first dice dot change dice image, and inside here I have to put in the first dice value. So here we are just changing the image of the first die, and I have to do the same thing. So instead of here, I have to say second die, and here I want to say second die as well. I want to change the notification as well. So entry point dot game dot renderer dot notification text, I think, equals, and I want to say player, what is happening, player plus board dot current player plus 1 plus and inside here I want to say rolled, I think, rolled plus total positions to move. Alright, is there anything else that I need? Probably just 1 second. I missed a what? Sorry, a space. Here and here, actually two spaces. Alright. Board dot players. Now I want to set the position to the new one. So board dot players of board dot current player index dot set position because I have a method like that, and I want to say current player position plus total positions to move. Yeah, and finally I want to change the state, so I want to say state machine dot change state, and this one. Alright, so here once we roll, the only thing that we need to do is, you know, create our dice numbers, then change the pictures, change the text, and then change the position of the current player, which is in the board static class. So board dot players of the current player in the index, and I want to set his position to the new one. So the old one plus the positions to move. And if you remember, this method now is gonna handle all of the hassles with if we are going if we are making a revolution around the board. So if we are like at 35 and we're 07, this method is gonna handle that, and I don't need to worry about the logic inside. So player roll state. All right, let's see if we can add this to the state machine. So inside here I want to say private static what is that now? Player roll state, player roll state, and I have to do the same thing. So inside here I have to say player roll state equals new player roll state, and inside here I'll give initial state due to the same reasons explained earlier. And now since we have a next state for the player turn state, now I can change it here. So I'll change this to player roll state, close the brackets, and now I need to change this as well. Alright, so let's see if it works. Oh, and I need to add it as well. So state dot add player roll state, player turn state, player roll state. Is anything wrong? Capital. All right, so we should be changing these and the text as well. So let's have a look. Player rolled 5, so we have that. We have that. The position is set, but we haven't moved it. So this will be our next state to implement. Player move state. Yeah, and once we change the state, we will go to that. So let's make a new class. And this is going to be player move state. Is the logic sort of clear with this? Is it relatively simple? We just add states. We do the every specific thing for each state, and we just tell it to go to the next one once it's finished its job. So player move state. Yeah, this is what we want to create. So public class player move state. And here I want to say public static int player old position. I don't remember why I have that, but I'm sure that I'll need it a bit later on. I'll have a constructor as well, which I'll just copy from here, from somewhere, from here. Constructor. This has to be player move state. Yeah, I don't inherit state. So state control dot implement, remove all of that. Okay, and now in the execute, the only thing that I should do is call the move player. So this is gonna be entry point dot game dot renderer dot move player, and let's see what we have to put in here. So we need to have the player index, which we have in the board. We need to have give the current position, and we have to give the new one. So let's do that. So what we want to do here is board dot current player index. After that I want to say board dot, so this is a bit more complicated. So board dot players, I'll put it on a new line so that's a bit more clear. Board dot players of board dot current player index dot current position, comma no, sorry. Player old. Okay, so yeah. First we had to give the old position. So here I want to say player old position, comma, and then give the last value here. I think that's it. Then we have to give everything. So we need to have the player index, which player to move. We want to know from where to where to have it. But we are not setting this value anywhere, and this is the line of code that I was worried about. So we need to set it in the previous state. We want to set this position to whatever the old position was. So let me go back to my roll state, and I want to say here, so player move state dot player old position equals current player position. Is it clear why we do this? Because in the player role state I changed the position of the player, but I want to keep a reference to where he was, so that I can move him in the next state. So inside here, move player, and also I want to say not here, if entry point dot game dot renderer dot should player move, only then I wanna, so if we've changed this value to false inside my renderer here in the method, what is this? So here in the renderer, in the move player, we have this if. So if we collide with a tile, I want to set this value to false. I want to execute it only while it is true. So let me go back to my roll state, to my move state here. So if this is true, then we want to say state machine dot change state, which means that we've gone to our destination, and we can now change the state. So let us test this, and then we'll. Yeah, if it's false, which means that if I have okay, so if should player move is false, then I want to change the state, right? So I think I had a different name here, something that should player stop or something, but it's always good to have the positive boolean value, as we've discussed in the quality code lecture. So what remains to be done is inside here, I want to create a new state, so let's do that. Private static player move state, player move state. Inside here I want to initialize it, so player move state equals new player move state, and initial state here, player move state here, and finally this hack, I have to say here move, and after that I just need to add it as well. So state dot add player move state, player move state. Yeah, okay. So let's roll. Alright, we moved to 6 and we landed on some street, which is going to be the next state. But you can see that everything changes. So the position of the player, the buttons, we have the dice as well from the previous state. So it looks like everything works. And I guess after the break we will continue with the more complicated state, which is player landed on state, which is going to hold most of our logic. And after that we just have the final one, which is end turn, and this will be it, and the game will run properly. It's not going to take too much long. Alright, so the last thing, so one of the last things is to create the most complicated state, which is going to be player landed on state. So player landed, do I have the on here? Player landed state, so just that. Okay, I want to delete all of that, delete that, say public class player landed state. I want to inherit from state. I want to implement it as well. I want to make the constructor class name placeholder. Okay, fair enough. So here constructor, I want to inherit from the base, so base next state, and inside here I want to say state next state. Do I need to initialize something here? No, I don't, so I'll just move it as is, and I have to change this to a camel case. Alright, now the execute here is going to be slightly different, because we have to differentiate between the cases where when we land on a tax, when we land on a street, and so on. Because if we land on street, I would have to make the buy button active, depending on whether it's owned by someone or not, which is going to be what's gonna make this state a bit longer. But other than that, if we didn't have to worry about the buttons and the next state and so on, and everything ended here, I could just say current tile dot act on player and give the specific player, and that'll be it, because all of the logic is already done, or at least I think it was almost all of the logic was already done in these methods that I've shown. Okay, so int player index equals board dot current. So I need to have the namespace for the board. Apparently, I don't need this. All right, remove a couple of blank lines. Okay, so board dot current player index. Var player current position equals, and I think that's an int. I don't know why I put it as var. So int player current position equals, and here this is a bit of a longer line. So board dot players of player index. Just 1 second. Dot current position. All right, we have that. I need to have a reference to the current tile as well. So tile. So let me use the tiles as well. And I don't need that. Just model and just the tiles. All right, I need to have a reference for the tile as well, so that I can execute the commands on it. So it's gonna be tile current tile equals. Okay, so can you tell me what should be here? How do I take the current tile? Where should I go? Board dot all tiles of player index. Okay. Right, after that we need to do a couple of things. So entry point dot game dot renderer notification text equals player plus player index +1. I think that is gonna work. Yeah, from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, and after that we are gonna change it in the next state. So this is gonna work. Plus, is there a question that I can answer?
It should be all tiles of player position.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Player current position, and this is why we got that in the first place up here. Okay, so plus, what did I do? I don't know what that is. All right, plus player landed on I want to say new line here, and then I want to add the current tile dot name, so that we know where we landed. I think that's that. Space. I need to have a space here. Yeah. Okay. After that, a couple of other things that we want to do. So entry point dot game dot renderer dot. I am missing something here. Just give me a second. Okay. Entry point dot game dot renderer notification text plus equals, and now we would like to say current tile. I think current tile dot act on player, and we are gonna take the current player plus equals. What's wrong with you? Okay, act on player, and here I want to give the specific player. So board dot players of board dot current player index. So I already have that. So player index. Okay, so let's have a look. What is this gonna do? So I want to add not only player landed on something, but I also want to add the message for each specific action on a player. So if you have a look at this method, which was in the model, in the tiles, and let's say we go to street. So these are the messages that we are gonna get, which are like explanatory of what happens. So here we have, yeah, you already own this. It's available for purchase and so on. This is what we are gonna get from this method, and it is gonna execute as well. So let's say that we land on someone else's property. We would like to say player dot decrement money with this rent, and this dot owner increment money with this rent. So this is both gonna do. So where is my state? Player landed state. So this is both gonna execute the action, the whole logic, who gives money to who. If you're on attacks, it's gonna take money off of you and so on, but it's also gonna be added to the notification text. So yeah, let me just check if that's all that I need to do. Board players, board current player index. Okay, and I also want to update entry point dot game dot renderer dot first player. First player. What is that? No, I wanted to say player one money. Okay. So let me get back to my. So player one money equals board dot players of 0 dot money plus $sign, and I want to do the same thing for the second player as well. So I want to update the what's written on the board. So yeah, board dot players of 1 plus $, and we have player 2 money. Okay, anything else that I want to do? Nope. Okay, so in all cases I would like to activate end turn button. So independently of whether we are on attacks, on a street and so on, we would like to give the opportunity of the player to end the turn. So maybe if you land on the street and you don't want to buy it, then you can just click end turn, and it's going to be the next player's move. So activate end turn. This is going to be a method which I am going to implement. Let me just find it. Yeah. Okay, it's going to be very, very similar to what we've done with the row button. So I'll just copy it from here. Where is it? Player row state, player turn state. Yeah, it's here. So I'm just going to copy all of that. Which normally means that if I use this too often, then I should extract it in some kind of a method, and then just give a reference to the button, and it's going to do everything for us. But since we want to have different logic inside these, then it's probably not that good of an idea. So player landed state, and inside here I'll paste that, and let's change a couple of things. So first of all, I don't need a row button. I need end turn button. This is going to be a reference to end turn. Could I have just renamed it? Can I just say here end turn button? Probably. Did it change? Did it change it? Yeah. I have to. Do I have to change that as well? No. So this has to be end turn button. Oops. I actually want to check whether that changed in here in my other class. No, it didn't. So we are fine. Okay. So we want to change this as well. So something like, are you sure you want to end your turn? Okay, and this thing is gonna be mouse over end turn. I didn't want to do that, mouse over end turn. Okay, mouse, I need to have the input for that. And enter button. I need to remove this now. And I just want to say state machine dot change state. Yeah. I think that's what we want to do. Alright. I am going to have a similar method which is going to be activate by button, so I'll just do that now as well, because we are going to be using it a little bit later. So private, actually no, let's just copy paste that. So button, I need to rename this to by button. This is going to be by button. What is wrong here? Already defines. Yeah, I should change the name. Activate by button. Activate by button. All right. Here we would like to put something else. We will see what actually is it here. Let me have a look. It's not gonna be here though. It will be in another place. Alright, so this is gonna be mouse over by, and there is another thing that I want to change, so all of that is fine. Here I want to add something else. I would like to have a reference to the current player, so int current player equals board dot current player index. Alright, let me check whether there is something special here to be done in this method. Okay, so inside here I want to say entry point dot game dot renderer dot notification text, and we would like it to say property bot, plain and simple. What else do I want to do? Board dot add street to player, and inside here I would like to say current player and player current position, which I don't have, and I probably give it here. So int player current position, and I'll show you what this method does as well. So F12, this is a method of my board which I don't remember showing. So add street to player. What is that gonna do? So we are gonna have the current street, and I have to cast it because my my list of tiles is of type tile, so I have to cast that to a street. Okay, and the current street owner, I have to set it to the current player, and also I need to add it to the list of streets of the player. So each player, if you remember, had a list of streets, and I have to add it there, and of course I have to decrement the money of my current player. This could have been done somewhere else, I think. I'm not sure. Why is that here? Add street to player. Could it have been a part of the street class? There we have. Yeah, no, because it's not tied to a or is it tied to a specific tile? Yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, maybe it was better to be done in the specific street and then just call it from there. But I've done it this way, so I hope it's fine. Something to change in the future, I guess. So player landed state. All right. A couple of things more that we want to do. Yeah, so entry point dot game dot show tile owner. I don't have that. Dot renderer dot show tile owner, and inside here I think I had to give current player and player current position. as well. What else do I need? I need to update the money as well. So let's do that also. So let's take it from here. Actually, I do it at first, and I need to do it after we buy as well. Yeah. So if it's a tax, it's gonna straight away update. But if it's a street and we've bought it, then I should do that as well here to update the player's money. So inside here, and then we can change the state, which is fine. Okay. Do we need to update the money? Yes. Yes, we need both of them. Yeah. Both of them, or just the current player? Yeah, just the current player. So inside here, I should say board.current player. That better? Yeah, but it's player one money. Okay, so yeah, this is one problem. I don't have a list of strings or an array of strings which show me the player's money. So there is no way to know which one is which, and I have to do it with an if statement. So this is why I change both. Actually, yeah. So this is the reason why. So this is one code smell, but this can be easily fixed if you create an array which is going to be similar to the player's array in the board, but for the player's money. So inside the MonoGame renderer here, instead of having these two, I am going to have a single string array which is going to be player's money, and then you can check which one's money you have to change. But yeah, I'm a bit lazy here because those are just two players and two lines, and I had to create a whole new array and so on. So I'm a bit lazy here. So let's get back to our execute method, and here we have to do the logic of whether we're on a street or if it's something else. Okay, so if current tile is street, then we want to do a couple of things. So var current tile as street equals current tile as street. Okay, if I don't do this, meaning if I don't cast the current tile this way, then I wouldn't be able to access some of the methods, the methods that I have for the street and properties as well. So here, if I say current tile, the only thing that I'll see is the index in the name, which is common for the tile for all tiles. But if I want to use something else, I have to create a new variable and cast it as the specific type. So now, if I want to use something, current tile as street dot, and I'll have everything else. I'll have the neighborhood, I'll have the owner, the price, and so on. Everything that I need to use. All right. So let's have a look. What do we have here? So if current tile, if current tile as street dot owner is different from board dot players of board dot player index, current player index, or I have it just there, so just player index. If the owner is not the current player, then we have to do something. If the owner is the current player, then we have to do something else, and so on. And let's see. So if the owner is not the current player and current tile, actually this is weird. Here the only thing that I need to check if it's null. So current tile the owner equals null. So if it's null, means that no one has bought it, and this means that I have to activate. Why don't I have current tile as street? Means that we have to activate the buy button. So activate buy button. Okay, and inside here I have to give the player current position as well. Alright, what else do we have? So else we want to say state machine dot change state. Alright, so if it's so if there is no owner for the current tile, then we would like to activate the buy button, and it's gonna have its own, you know, logic here on changing the state, the hover, the clicked image, and so on, actually down here. If not, we just want to change the state, right? So we've displayed the correct message. We have done the thing with the rent. So if it was ours, the tile or the street, nothing happens. If we've landed on someone else's tile, it's gonna take care of that for us in this act on player thing here, and we're actually gonna have a message as well. So this all has been taken care of. We don't have to activate the buy button, so everything is fine. All right, and what else do we have? So else if, so I guess it has to be here. Else if current tile is chance card, I think, chance card. Then I want to do something similar. Current tile as chance equals current tile as chance card. Have we used this casting? Have I explained it? Do you know what's the difference between this and the other? Chance card. So the one with the bracket is gonna give an exception if it cannot do the type casting. What is the other one gonna do? Sorry? It will not cast it, which means that what value am I gonna get? No. So it's either the value as chance card or no, which means that it's not gonna stop your program from running. Alright, and inside here I would like to say, what do I want to say? Why do I even have this if? I don't do anything. So everything, yeah, I don't need this because everything that I want to do is act on player. So here I don't need to do anything. But do I need to change the state though? Is my question. So yeah, I do need this, and I'll just change the state here. So state machine dot change state. Right here I don't have to do anything because I already have this act on player, and the only thing that I have to do is not change the state. Yes. Outside of the if. Let me think. Yeah, it is. It is. We don't need this else. We don't need this else if. And I just changed the state in the end. Okay, let's try. I'm not sure if this is gonna break any logic of. I'm gonna go into the activate button, and it's gonna handle it itself every time. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try and do that. So I'll just delete this else if as well. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. Yeah. Yeah. Do the others agree that? If we activate the buy button and change the state, what's the well? We still don't have it, but it's gonna be defined when it's end turn state. So like. We activate the button, and only if we have clicked, only then we change the state. This for the street. If it's outside the if, meaning that we are not on a street, then we should probably change the state. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. After a short discussion, we decided to leave this as is because of the logic of the game. So a couple of more. So else if current tile. Actually, do I have something else? No, I don't. So I can just add it here. Else if current tile is chance card, or current tile is tax. We don't want to do anything because that's already handled by act on player. And finally, I want to have else if current tile is special tile. And here I actually want to do something. So if I land on go to jail, I would like to move from the position 30 to the position 10, which is for both the jail and that. So here is, I wouldn't say that much of a complicated logic because we already have the methods, but you'll see. So current tile as special, and we want to do the casting as well. So current tile as special tile. Okay, so if we land on go, nothing happens. If we land on free parking, depending on the rules, but nothing can happen there as well. And what else there? If you're just visiting jail, nothing happens as well. So the only case that we need to check is if current tile is special dot name equals go to jail, or I could have just said dot position. I think position. I don't have it here. Why do I not have it here? That's weird. Dot index. Yeah, dot index equals 30. So both are the same. So if we have that, I want to say entry point dot game dot renderer dot move player, and I want to say board dot current player index comma 3010. Move him from 30 up to 10, and this is going to be handled by the renderer. Do I want to change the state here? I actually don't. Okay, it's fine. Right, so this is my land. Yes.
When you go to jail, if you pass go, you're not supposed to get $200. Is that handled?
I think it was. If not, I just have to decrement the money here. But I think it was fine. Yeah, I think it was fine. We'll see. I don't know actually. Okay. So let's do the last state, which is relatively short. It's pretty much copy pasted the end turn button, and then we'll fix the state machine, and the game will be ready to play. Alright, so inside here I would like to add a new class, which is going to be end turn state. So delete that public class end turn state, which inherits from state, and inside here, yeah, I want to implement I got tired of repeating this, so yeah, constructor as well. We have here state, end state, base, end state. Okay, inside the execute, but I just want to copy this other method first, which makes me think that it's probably to have something like a factory method for activating the buttons, but we're not going to do that now. We already have it into separate places, so let me just put that inside my end turn state. So right here, and button, I need to have a reference for that. And the final thing that I want to do is, so here what I've said is update the money for some reason. So is there any reason to do that? I don't think there is. So if something is wrong, then we'll add it and we'll think what is happening. So the only thing that I have to do here is activate end turn button. And remove this because it's not necessary. Alright, let's go to the state machine and finalize this. So we have private static player landed state. Why didn't I see the other one? So I want to also have private static player. No, because it's just end turn state. Alright, inside here I want to create both of them, so I want to say player landed player landed state. I didn't get the joke when I was saying it, but now, yeah, now it's funny. Okay, new player landed state. The next state, now we know what that is gonna be. It's gonna be end turn state. Alright, and here I want to say player end turn state equals new end turn state. So what's the next one gonna be, you think? It's not gonna be initial because we've already initialized the board, so we are gonna be going to player turn state. Player turn state. And now the only thing that I have to do, so I have to change this. So player move state goes to player landed state. The only one that's not gonna be initialized and I'll have a problem here is with end turn state. So inside here I have to say end turn state dot next state equals player turn state to close the loop, sort of. Let's play. Oh, I had to add them, so let's not play. So state dot add player landed state, player landed state. End turn state, and inside here I want to say end turn state, and I guess that's it. So let's see what's happening. Let's play a bit. So roll. We rolled 7. This is a chance card. We got 50, but the sign got changed, which is something that I do not like. So let me. So no, there is a message. So it showed there briefly. So let me just go to player landed state, and I want to comment this line, and I want to say what's gonna happen here. Are you sure? So yeah, this thing has to be only if I click. Only if I click, so it has to be here. You see how easy it is now to change stuff. You know, you just go into your state, you find what you want to change, and then you do that. If there is a problem with the logic or drawing and so on, you have to go specifically to the board or to the renderer. So I have to remove the. Oh yeah, I just copied it. Thanks. Probably. I don't know. Alright, so roll. We rolled 5, so this is King's Cross Station. King's Cross Station is available. King's Cross Station. Kings. So actually I have to put a dot or a new line somewhere where I draw the street. So street, you landed on. Is it here? No, it's actually, yeah, it's in the. Is it in the street? No. Tile. I got a bit confused. Is it in the players? No, it should be in the. It should be on the tiles. So on the tiles, you say. Actually, yeah, I got it. So we have to go to player landed state, and inside here where it says landed on, but I have a new line. Oh yeah, I have a new line here, but I also want to add a new line here as well. So plus plus a new line here as well, and now it's gonna be fine. Okay, so rolled 8. Player 1 landed on Houston Road. Houston Road is available. Okay, so let's buy it here. It's active. Buy. Monopoly stopped working. Let's see what happens. So F5. Let's see what happens. So F5, and let's roll and let's buy something. So buy. So streets, current street, street alta, street index, invalid cast exception, handled. Okay, so apparently when I was calling this function, I exchanged the values of the street index and the player index. So let's have a look. So let's go to player landed state, and I don't see it here anymore, so let's close that. So player landed state, and whenever we call activate, no, what was it? Buy. Activate buy button on click, so somewhere around here. Add street to player. So what do we have here? Let's write it again. So street index. Street index, this is, let me check if I have it somewhere around here. Player current position, and player index board dot players of board dot current player index. Is that right? Do you have it current player?
Yeah, down there, in the bottom line below.
Current player. All right, I have it. Is this an index though? Yeah, it's an int. Yeah. Let's check now what's happening. So roll. We roll 2. Community chest. We have won a fashion contest and received 50. Okay, thanks. I always knew I was beautiful. All right, so end turn. Player 1's turn. Okay, so we are not changing the player. So where should that be? I do not agree. End turn state. Okay, so in end turn state, inside here, I have to say board dot current player index equals board dot current player index plus 1. Okay, so if the player current index is, so let me just draw. If it's 0, we are gonna change to 1. Okay, if it's 1 and then I add 1 again, it's gonna be 2, but I don't want it to be 2. I want it to be 0 again. So inside here, I have to do %2, and that's gonna work. If you want to have more players, what I would do here is board.players.count, because if you have 3 players, then you have to divide by 3. If you have 4, you have to divide by 4, and this is precisely the count of your players. So let's check if that's fixed. Roll. Okay, 10. Landed on jail, visiting your old friend, end turn. Player 2's turn. Please roll. Roll. 8. Is that an 8?
Yeah.
That's not an 8, that's a 9. Yeah, that's a 9. Why? What happened? This is very weird. Okay, let's buy this and let's see if we're gonna have that again. So I landed 5.
Wow.
And I started going around for some reason. Winning strategy. Right. I don't know where this comes from. Let me run that again. So roll. I roll 4. That's fine now. We got the tax. Our money is now decremented and so on. Roll. Yeah, end turn. What? End turn roll. 8. It goes to 9 again. Something's wrong with the roll button or the sprites or the move. So let me check the roll first. So RNG from 1 to 7, this is gonna give me a number from 1 to 6. I add it, and okay, first dice number, second dice number. How do I call these? I didn't have this bug, so I don't know what's going on. So let's go into the view, the UI initializer. That is correct, I think. Let me check my content. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I add that. To string, which is fine. I have no idea what's going on. Let's have a look. So row 6, and I'm here. Okay. By enter roll 7, and we are going on 8. Maybe the
image for 3.
sorry.
What's the image file for 3?
What's the image file for 3?
Yeah,
It's 3.
is it? Okay. Fair enough.
So what I am thinking is when I initialize the player, I don't give it a starting position of 0. Is the other thing that I'm thinking could happen. So let's go to the player, and let's check if that's the problem. So player, this dot index. Where do I set the positions? Current is 0. That is weird indeed. So for the first is fine. Let's do that again slowly. Okay, so roll. We rolled 7. Player 1 landed on a chance card. You have 1. Okay, so we win this. I say end turn. Player 2's turn. 10. It goes to 11. Huh. Let's do that again. So let's roll. Now we don't have the animation at all. Goes around. So a problem with move player. Maybe. Let's have a look at it. I'm actually gonna stop the video and I'm gonna show you once we are done with it. So, okay. So one bug that we found is that in the execute here, which is similar to update, we changed the value of we changed the current player, and this is called many times. So I should only do it if I click on the end turn state, which did not fix our problem. So we'll keep looking. Alright, so the bug was a bit hard to find, so I think someone from the audience told me to write something weird in here. Let me just bring it back. So int current player position equals board.currentPlayerIndex, which is clearly not correct. I have to say board.players of board.currentPlayerIndex.current position, and now everything works, or at least I hope so. So let's roll 6, and this is the NGO Islington. Buy, enter, roll. We land on community chest. The bank is giving us 100. We are very happy. Enter, roll. Okay, the electric company. I wouldn't normally buy this, but you know, let's give it a go. The tile notifications are also drawn correctly. Let's check if we buy something with the other guy. Okay, so now here we have to pay 20 to the other player, and I think this is what happened, or at least I think so. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So enter and roll. Buy, enter and roll. Can we buy something? Okay, buy. This is now orange, and I think it works.
Can you check pass and go, please?
Can I check pass through go? Let's have a look. So roll. enter and roll, enter and roll, enter and roll, enter and roll, and we got 200, so I think that works.
100 from the opening chest.
Yeah, and 100 from the chest as well. So yeah, this was it. I would like to say again that this is a bit of an overkill to do it with an MVC. But if you have a larger project, this is a good way to structure your code. It has many benefits. Even this bug that was very nasty, because it's giving correct values sometimes, and you wonder why. Even this one was a bit easy to find because it was in the roll state. So I would say that we could have called that even earlier. Alright, so yeah, that was it, and this was the last lecture for this course. The next course will be HTML5, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and the next video that you will see is from it. So yeah, stay tuned for our next course, I would say. Okay.